Evening po dyan sa Calgary, Sir Talnag. It is 5 in the morning here in Medina, Saudi Arabia. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to have you on this Zoom interview about your experience on earning your second degree through ETEEAP. I will try my best to make it short because I know you have a lot of prior commitments. Let's start with the first question. So, you already have a degree in Human Resource Development Management. Bakit po ginusto niyong mag-take ng another degree in teaching majoring in English through ETEAP? For sure,
Mhm.
you have prior experience in teaching before you did that as one of the major requirements of ETEAP. Please share us
Mhm.
why.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you, Raf, for having me into your segment. It's really a pleasure. And always, whenever you would invite me for another session of this ETF interview, I'll be glad to be your guest once again. So anyway, going back to your question, I just want to tell you about my background or my history as to why I took ETL. Prior to taking ETL, I was already teaching back in the Philippines. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to get my license to become an LPT. And I enrolled myself in an institution. I think it was 18 units at the time. So I took at least 15 units, I think, in that university. Well, shout out to the University of Cordilleras, rather. So, well, the very purpose why I enrolled myself for that professional course or thingy for me to be able to become an LPT was really to fulfill that how can I say, to put or to me being certified as a professional teacher. And in one of my subjects, I've learned about ETL that I can actually have a degree in teaching even without going to the university for another 4 years. So I took the risk. I went to the University of Baguio and inquired about their ETL. So I found out that I am qualified for the program itself. So there and then I decided to enroll myself through this program, which of course ETEAP. And another reason why I took it was that I found out that I can actually use it as a part of my application before for Canada. Well, ETEAP, which was of course recognized under CHED, is also recognized in other countries. So it's almost the same with other programs. Like instead of, like what I've mentioned, instead of you going to the university, studying for another 4 years, since it's recognized by CHED and it's guaranteed that it's also recognized in other countries, such as here in North America, like the US, and of course, here in Canada. So it's like a win situation for me. So yeah, that's the reason why I took ATEP for me to be certified, for me to learn more how teaching industry works, especially that I chose the field of teaching. So those are the reasons why I took this program, which is ATEP.
Yeah. So parang masasabi natin, sir, na parang yung first degree mo talaga, hindi mo talaga masasabi na yun talaga yung forever mo, no?
Exactly. And I was young at that time, so I didn't know what I really wanted to do in life. One thing for sure is I wanted to become a cardiothoracic surgeon. But
Oh.
well, life was kind of tough those times, so I just chose to study, human resource development management.
And also to save your time, you took your second degree through ETEAP.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was thinking of pursuing my master's degree at that time, but because I really wanted to finish it as soon as possible for me to use it as supplementary to my application. Yeah, so I just decided to go for ETEEAP, then I told to myself, then why not? Because they mentioned that I could finish the degree in less than a year, compared if I'm gonna take my master's, which would take about like, I don't know, 2 to 3 years. So it's more practical to earn a degree under ETEUP. So yeah, it's a good thing, I would say.
Thank you so much, Sir Talnag. Let's proceed to the next question.
Sure.
How was the process back then? Can you share us what or things you had to prepare?
Wow. Not really sure how is it different now, but during my time, it was kind of straightforward. So I went to the registrar. I found the person who's in charge of ETEAP. So I had my initial interview with her, and she just asked me like how old I am, what were the things that I've experienced, or those trainings or other things that I could show to them with a proof. So most likely there's something to do with the certifications or the certificates, and also some reference letters from the different people, most especially my employers back then. So that was the first, I would say first step to have an interview. Well, they call it initial interview. And after the interview, she told me that, okay, you're qualified for this program. You just need to prepare a lot of things. So I did prepare a lot of things. And of course, first one is my work experience. So at that time, right, I was teaching for quite some time. I would say more than 5 years at that time. So I asked my employer to issue me a certificate of employment, at the same time, a reference letter. And also I went back to some of my employers when I was doing some of part-time jobs before. So I was into human resources before jumping into teaching. Also, I prepared all of my certificates that I was able to attend those trainings and the likes. So they asked me to um, make a writing. What I'm trying to say is to provide a narrative report of those certificates that I have with me. So it doesn't really matter if the certificate was like 10 years ago or 5 years ago. So yeah, the person in charge told me that whatever you have, as long as it's a certificate and as long as it is something that could actually help you out with your application, then just include it there. So I prepared a lot. As far as I could remember, there were three folders that I prepared. So basically my certificates with the narrative reports and also portfolio. Well, what I'm trying to say is pictures with captions of what I was doing at that time. So I had to ask some of my colleagues to take a picture of me while I was teaching and also while I was doing some admin task in the office, so those things. And yeah, a lot of preparation indeed. I think it took me about 2 months to gather all of those documents and to put them all in those folders. Another thing was to prepare also my previous documents in terms of my first degree. So I had to go back to the school to my previous university. Shout out to St. Louis University. I love you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, I went back to my previous university and I had to request. I forget the name of that document, but anyhow, I just told them that I would want to um, study another program at the University of Baguio. So they issued me a document and then they told me that they would forward some of the documents directly to the school. So, a lot of things that I actually did. And good thing, I was able to finish all of those ones in just 2 months. And after that, I went back to the university. So once I was able to finish everything or to complete everything rather, I just told the program coordinator that I am ready for the final panel interview. So if you guys remember, Kanina, Raf, I mentioned that I had my initial interview. So that was just one-on-one. But the final interview, what we call final interview, is what we call panel interview. So most likely, okay, at that
Yeah.
time, right, it's not just a one-on-one interview. So it's actually with with a lot of people. As far as I could remember, there were four or five. So the program coordinator or the one who's in charge, and then the dean of the school that I would be part in. The other one is internal panelist. The other one is external panelist, and the other one also is was from CHED. So I think there were five of them who
Yes.
interviewed me. So basically, I handed out all of my documents and they've asked me a bunch of questions. I think that was an hour and 30 minutes. I couldn't really remember, but they asked me a lot of questions. Like, um, I still remember one question. I think the dean asked me, what isn't it for you to earn another degree? And how would you use this degree in the future? So I think those were the questions that were asked to me before. Couldn't just remember other questions. But anyhow, those are the things. I mean, that's the second step or even third step. So final interview. So they have this, as far as I could remember, they had this rubric. So they would just actually check all of the competencies. And yes, based on the interview questions, based on how I answered or responded to them, and also based on the proof or the evidences that I've shown to them, that's how they decided that maybe,
Yeah.
okay, this competency is equivalent to this subject, I guess, or like that. And at the end, they just told me that, okay, yeah, thank you for answering all of the questions. So they told me that, okay, these are the things that you have to do. So yeah, since ETEEAP stands for Expanded Tertiary Equivalency, right, accreditation program. So they would just
Yeah. Yeah.
actually see if this competency is equivalent to this subject. So they checked everything. And at the end, right, there are just 10 subjects that I need to take. So yeah, they just told me that, okay, just 10 subjects, and after that, we'll be good. You're done. Yeah, so those were the process before and also my preparation, definitely. The most difficult part of me preparing is, I guess, writing my narrative report because for
Yeah.
each certificate, I really have to explain the things that I've learned. How did it help me to grow professionally? And of course, how did it help me as a person? And how could I, or how am I going to relate that in my profession?
So
So
it's
those were
like
the,
if you have 80 certificates, you will write 80 narratives, right?
Mhm. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Because you really have to defend yourself.
Yes,
You have to
it.
defend that, what was in it for you? Why did you attend that training? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it would really help if you attended a lot of trainings or a lot of professional development programs, right? Because either how, maybe a part of that would be used as an equivalent to a certain, let's say, subject, right? Yes.
So, sir, during that time, were
hmm
you teaching in a school or a training center or a language center?
hmm Well, that's a very good question.
Mm-hmm.
So I was teaching in college on the weekends, and also I was teaching in a language school during weekdays. Mhm.
Wow.
Yes.
That's wow. That's
Right.
why, if you're going to look back on your experience in the Philippines.
Hmm.
You were teaching, so you're really qualified for that.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was a really nerve-wracking experience to prepare your portfolio, if I
hmm
must say,
hmm
because you will summarize and
hmm
you will collect all of your certificates and your
hmm
previous experience at work, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I could say, or I could say too, that EDF is really a fair program to
hmm
working professionals, unless
hmm
they will not make it in a fair way.
Yeah, well, definitely. And as far as I can still remember, there were some trainings or there were some professional developments that I've attended to, but they did not actually issued some certificates.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I went to those people that I have connection of. I had connection of rather. So I just went to them and told them if they could issue me some of the certificates or some certificates. Or some of them even did not issue me certificates, but they issued me like a kind of reference letter that I've attended that kind of training and when was that, where was that, what was the topic, and at the end of that, letter, they just put their signature there
Well, that's cool,
along.
sir, that you share
Hmm.
that, because
Hmm.
some of the applicants of EDF doesn't know that
Yeah,
they could ask their
yeah.
previous what do you say seminars or any
Hmm.
workshops that you attended before, because some of the people who
Hmm.
attend seminars or workshops forgot to
Hmm.
ask for their certificates, which is very vital
Yeah,
for your collections and for your
exactly.
records.
Yeah, that's right. And well, because ETEEAP do recognize formal and informal form of learning, right? And attending some workshops, trainings, and seminars, it's form of informal, uh, way of learning. So if they did not provide some certificates, then they could just approach them, those training providers, those speakers, if they could provide or print one at least, or yeah, they could just ask them to write a letter for them. Then that should be enough, I guess. Hmm.
And
As long as,
during your time, sir, it was a manual process, right? You go back and forth to the university you're applying to.
exactly. Yes, right. Yes and no, I would say. Um, well, as for the process, right? At first, I thought that I had to go to the university well, University of Baguio every time that I would complete a task. But they just told me that no, you don't need to. I just need to um send it in this email. I think
Mhm.
I gotten the email from my dean at that time, and she told me just to send all of the requirements there. So I really did not visit the university a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right. So I guess that's enough of your sharing with the second questions. And it's very
Okay.
impressive how you do the process of back then during
Mhm.
your time. That was 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
I started, yes, 2019. I went
Mm.
to the University of Baguio in 2018 and I registered sometime, I think in January, first month of 2019, but my preparation started already in 2018. If I'm not remember, I mean, if I'm mistaken, I started preparing some of the documents in November up to December. Mhm.
That's
Yes.
cool.
Well, because I really wanted to finish. And at that time, I had this deadline that I
Mhm.
have to prepare a lot of things because applying to Canada at the time, well, even now, was really difficult. So if
Oh,
you
yeah.
miss your chance, if you miss, the round of that point system, then yeah, you're gonna lose your chance of immigrating to this country. But anyway, that's gonna be on another side topic.
It's like a first come, first serve. Ah.
Kind of like that, kind of.
All right. So, sir, thank you so much. Let's proceed with the last question.
Okay, sure.
All right. So, this last question, sir, also answers one of the frequently asked questions quoted are ETEAP graduates can take a licensure or board exams. Now, the question is after you earned your degree in teaching, did you take licensure exam right away? How was the process in your experience that time? Have you encountered any discrimination? Did they ask you some questions about why you have 2 degrees? Typical Filipino.
Mhm. I would say yes and no. I mean, as for the question, right? Like taking a licensure or board exams, because not all um, programs would allow you to take the board exam. Well, it just so happened that my second degree under ETEEAP was Bachelor of Science Bachelor in Secondary Education, major in English. So, of course, that major would lead me to take my licensure examination or board exam. So, the
Mhm.
answer there would be yes. Okay. If you have experience in teaching, but you don't have a degree or you haven't finished your studies, but you have the experience of teaching, I know for sure because in the Philippines, especially in Baguio and Cebu, heard about Davao as well, that there are a lot of individuals teaching English, right? Either online or in person. So yeah, they can actually take ETEA, have that degree in education. Then after finishing it, they can take the board exam as well. Those people working as security guards, yes. If they have enough experience, at least 5 years of continuous experience, then they could apply for a degree in criminology. So if they would finish that program under ETEAP, then they're qualified to take their licensure examination. But let's say, for
Mm.
example, your experience into hotel and tourism industry. Well, basically after graduating, you don't need to take your licensure examination there, unless maybe that you have plans of teaching or to become a certified public teacher, I guess, in the future. Then you have to study what we call professional or professional education.
Mhm.
I'm not sure because during my time it was just 18 units, but now maybe I think more than 30.
They
I'm
call
not
it
sure now.
uniting.
Oh, they call
Uniting.
it uniting right now. Okay. That's new to me. So anyway, yeah. Um, Whatever it is, okay. The answer there is yes and no. It depends on what your program is under ETAP. So if it's well, we could just say regulated, okay? So if it's a
Mm.
regulated kind of job, definitely you need to take the exam, okay? Like under teaching profession, criminology, I would say, right? But if it's unregulated, like operations management, human resources, or business, except for accounting, okay, those majors don't need to have or to go, or I mean, those people who just finished those majors or degrees don't need to take the licensure or the board exams. Unless they could have said they want to be in a regulated profession. Another question here, have you encountered any discrimination? No, right? It doesn't really matter. Okay, if you've had or you've taken your degree under ETEAP or let's say in a regular course, right? Nah, they 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 didn't, and it doesn't really matter as far as I know. Mhm. And sometimes it has something to do with the school, I guess. If you've studied from, let's say, UB or SLE or UC, then yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No discrimination.
Okay. So, sir, I guess for those courses who doesn't
Mhm.
have a board exam or licensure exam,
Hmm.
they can take civil service if they wanted to join the government.
Oh yeah, right. Yes, yes. Thank you for bringing that um bringing that out. Yeah, because civil service, right? If you want to become a civil servant, regardless of your educational background or regardless of your program in the university, then yeah, we can say that yes, na yes tayo dyan.
Yes. So, sir, thank you so much. I know
Mhm,
I took a lot of your time today, and alam ko na madami kayong kailangan gawin diyan sa Canada. And mabuhay sa ating mga OFW. And thank you, sir.
mhm,
It's really a pleasure to me to have
mhm,
you in this interview, and it's really a big help for this
mhm,
content to share some
mhm,
experience and the knowledge and ideas for those aspirants in this ETF and those who don't know that these
mhm.
programs exist.
No worries. All right. Yes. So, well, first of all, I want to say thank you to Raf for giving me this opportunity to um, share my ETEEAP journey as well. I know maybe some of you are asking, like, oh, no, because Sir Edmar is already a professional. But then I would say na ang ETEEAP is for both professionals and unprofessionals. Or let's say those who were not able to finish their degree because of some circumstances in life. So, pwede pa rin tayong makatapos ng degree natin, sabi ko nga, through this program. Sa mga Canada, yes, our degree under ETEAP is recognized. We have some, I forgot the name, but like assessing body or assessing bodies here in Canada, like ICOS and WES. So they are actually recognizing ETEAP programs rather under ETEAP.
Mm,
So yeah, recognize siya. And when I had my assessment through ICOS, my degree under ETEAP was well, the equivalent was that of the same with what we have here in Canada. Yes.
cool. Thank you so much, sir.
Hmm. Right. No worries.
Have a great day, and thank you, po.
No worries. Thank you and have a good one as well.